So I'm about to show you guys how I install my Microlocs. I'm using a lock that actually slipped out, an extension that slipped out, to demonstrate how this goes. Now there's two ways that you can do it. There's one that's like super secure and another one that's not as secure but takes a little bit less time. I did the one that takes a little bit less time, but anything that slips out, I'm going to show you how to do it the most secure way. So this is the lock here. As you can see, it's just a braided lock, little space in the middle, which is good for us. So all you do is you'll need this latch. I think it's called a latch hook tool. It's like $1 at the beauty supply store. You'll need this and then your braid, of course. And then if you're adding in extensions, obviously you're going to need your extensions. All right. So I'm going to use black hair since my roots are black. And then I will braid in the colored hair as we go along. So I'm just going to take extension about this long, put it in my latch hook like so, and close it up. I'm actually going to just keep a hold of one side and then just pull the other one through, unlatch it to take the other side out, and then voila. So this is how it should look. I mean, you can use any tool that just gets the hair in between the other hair. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna do it, and then I just braid. Now when you do this method, you want to make sure you're not using too much hair, because if you do, it'll end up like bulky and you don't want that. All right, and so we braid it down, so we're at the colored part now. And now this is where the second technique comes in. Okay, so this is my colored hair. This is like the color of my hair. It's not quite the bright blonde yet, but that's okay because we want it to have kind of like an ombre effect. So what we're gonna do is, now that it's like this, like kind of comb the hair together, and then like the shorter piece, like you want to create like a thin, shorter piece like that. And you want to make this one side, and then all the rest of the hair, you want it to be the other side. Okay. And then you're going to take the extension and you're going to do like this, right? So it should kind of like wrap around that hair. You're going to take one side and you're going to like twirl it or twist it in with the hair that's already attached, or your natural hair. And then the other piece, you're just going to make that your third leg in the braid, and then you just braid. And if you want, you can just like twist all the hair as you go. It's not completely necessary, but if it helps you like feel more secure, then by all means do that. And then here where it's attached, you want to make sure your pointer finger kind of pushes up on the part that you're braiding, and that way you'll get it so your extension hair isn't slipping down. And you just braid, and any excess hair, it's not doing what it's supposed to do, cool, just take it out. And there you go. And it's starting to get a little short. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see, probably not. So then you just take a little bit more of the colored hair and do the same. Once again, you can take like a small thin piece of what you already have braided and make the rest one leg. Take the extension hair, one part of the extension hair, and wrap it around the short leg, twist it together. And then these other two pieces, the hair that's already on your head, and the second part of the extension hair will be your second and third leg. Again, twist and braid. Now, if you were going to twist them all, you just do a slight twist as each comes around. And this will also just help with flyaways too. And then and then don't forget your pointer finger to press up to keep the extension from slipping, and just go down. And it's almost at the end. Pull out any excess hair. And that's how it's looking. Now you may get a little bit, if your hair is blunt cut like mine, you may get a little piece that like sticks out, but honestly, I'm not that worried about it. Let me compare it to maybe a neighbor. All right, kind of like that. All right, cool. So now it's safe to start adding in my blonde hair. There you go. And literally you just do the same. And this is what I did mostly, was just adding the hair in like so. So I'm going to take that part where my natural hair is starting to end that's really short, and I'm going to make that the part that I twist in to the extension. Again, twist, twist, and then braid. Yeah, and if I have a few hairs sticking out, cool. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, see, it's sticking out a little bit, but that's okay. Hopefully that will lock in due time. And that really only happens if you have like a blunt cut hair. Like when I did my mom's, like she had no issues. Just taking that out. She had no issues with that. I'm only having issues with that because I blunt cut my hair. And this is how it looks so far. Easy peasy. If you add a little too much, you may get like a little bump like that, right? Now you can just go back and correct that by adding less hair. I'm maintaining my joint with knotted locks, so I don't care either way. But just like FYI, if you see those bumps, that just means you add a little too much hair. So just go back, add a little less, and you'll be good to go. But if you don't care, then, you know, just leave it. So a few things. One, each of these braids, depending on how small you do and how long they are, they take about 10 minutes per braid, FYI. So they take quite a long time to do a braid. All right. If you're doing these, you need to make sure you use kinky human hair. It's like the Marley hair, except human. I don't know what they call it. Kinky. Hold on, this one I got from Amazon is Afro 100% bulk human hair. This is the black. I have black, like this strawberry blonde, which matches the blonde in my natural hair, and then the light blonde, which is like a 613, I believe. So I have all three of those that I'm using in my hair. And of course, you know, if you don't have blonde hair, don't have a desire to, then you can just use one color, whatever. I'm just doing that to help my hair blend as it grows out. Also, what may really help your hands, which I used a lot of the way, it's not completely necessary, but if the hair you got feels like a little bit rougher, it does help to use like a spray bottle to like wet the hair before you like add it in. That just helps like soften the hair and makes it easier on your fingers, so you're not like cutting up your fingers. Using this technique, I haven't had any slippage in my actual lock. Where my natural hair and my extensions meet, that's where the slippage has been. But again, it's just because I didn't, like, I would start like, I don't know, here's a good example, like maybe like here or here. And if I would have went up a little bit further, I probably wouldn't have that issue. Like my mom washed her hair and the Microlocs I installed for her, and she hasn't had any issues with any locks falling out. And I didn't do it from the root with her. I just did it further up her hair shaft. Like I maybe gave it like 4 or 5 inches on each braid, and she hasn't had an issue. You don't have to go all the way to the scalp if you don't want to. I didn't want to because I took so much time to grow out my hair. I just didn't want to cover that part up with extensions. So you don't have to do it from the root, but that is the most secure way to make it so that you have a very low probability of your extension slipping out. Like this hair, none of this hair has slipped out whatsoever, not one single one. So if you do your extensions from the root rather than further down the shaft, it's very, very unlikely that you'll have anything slipping out. And then I'll show you guys what I do when I get to the end. Now, when you get to the end, a lot of people just like leave it. But I'm actually not gonna leave it. I'm gonna put a little knot in there. And I'm kind of just putting a knot in there for my own experimental sake, since I'm doing the knotted locks on the rest of my hair. I kind of just want to see what happens. And I'm not really one who likes the curly ends like that. Like, I don't know. That's just not for me. I want locks, and I don't want any additional maintenance. That's why I have locks. So I don't want the curly ends. But if you do, nothing wrong with that. That's just not for me. All right. So that's pretty much where it needs to be. I'm not going to add any more extension. I'm just going to divide this tiny piece up and just braid as much as I can down until I really can't braid no more. And then what I do, you do not have to do this, mind you. You could just leave it and it'll be fine. Like, it's very highly unlikely that it'll unravel on you. So feel free to leave it if that's your preference. I'm going to put like a little knot at the end. Just to make sure it's more secure. Again, not necessary, but make sure it's more secure. And then I just kind of want to see when it starts to lock up, like how the ends are going to look, right? And I just do this. And I'm pretty much good to go. I have like, so the knot is here. You can't even really see it. It's literally right here. And then the rest of the hair. And if I'm inclined, I'll cut this. If not, you don't have to. Like, I have ends that are there and they just curled up. And if you want to see, this is a lock that I knotted 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That's how it looks. You really can't tell. Or maybe, there you go. If you guys have any other questions, in the comment box, of course, always like and subscribe.